Ladies, let's talk about something powerful, something that flips the entire game. Have you ever found yourself staring at your phone, waiting for a text that never comes? Have you ever felt that awful sinking feeling when a man you thought was interested suddenly pulls back, goes quiet, or worse, acts like you don't exist? I know how frustrating that can be, and if you've ever been tempted to double text, check your social media, or ask him outright, did I do something wrong? Stop right there, because today I'm going to show you the Stoic comeback, a response so powerful, so effortlessly magnetic, that it will make him feel the weight of ignoring you. Here's the hard truth. Chasing a man, explaining yourself, or trying to fix things will only push him further away. Men don't respond to words. They respond to absence. They don't regret losing a woman who begs for attention. They regret losing a woman who becomes unattainable. This isn't about games. It's about understanding human psychology and positioning yourself as a prize. Because when you do this right, you won't just make him notice you again. You'll make him question everything. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to reveal will shift the way you handle any man who ignores you. If you're ready to turn the tables, let's begin. Again, 1. Detach emotionally. Control your reaction. The moment he starts pulling away, you feel it deep in your chest, that sharp sinking feeling of uncertainty. You check your phone, wondering if you missed a message. You replay your last conversation, searching for a clue, a sign, anything that might explain why he's suddenly distant. And then, without thinking, you reach for your phone, your fingers hovering over the keyboard, tempted to send that one text. Hey, is everything okay? Stop. This is the exact moment where most women lose their power. They give in to emotion. They react. They seek clarity, validation, and reassurance from a man who, let's be honest, isn't giving them any. And the cruel irony? The more you reach out, the more he pulls away. The more you try to fix things, the more he loses interest. But what if I told you that the most powerful response isn't a text, a call, or even a single word? What if the most effective way to make him feel your absence is to do absolutely nothing? Men are wired differently. Unlike women who often seek emotional connection through communication, men process attraction through challenge, uncertainty, and space. The second they know they have you, they stop chasing. It's not malicious, it's just biology. A man values what he earns, not what is handed to him. And when a woman reacts emotionally to his silence, whether it's with desperation, frustration, or even passive aggressiveness, she unknowingly confirms that he has the upper hand. But a woman who masters emotional detachment, she becomes music forgettable. Imagine this. He starts responding slower, his text becomes short, maybe even stops initiating altogether. Most women panic at this stage. They assume they've done something wrong. They try to overcompensate by texting more, making themselves extra available, or subtly trying to get his attention online. But a woman who truly values herself, she does none of that. Instead, she leans back. She allows the silence to exist. She does not chase. She does not fill the void with unnecessary words. She becomes a mystery, a question he suddenly wants to answer. The power of emotional detachment is not just in what you don't do, but in how you position yourself in his mind. When a man expects you to react and you don't, he is forced to confront a reality he wasn't prepared for, the possibility that he is losing you. And the beauty of this? You don't have to manipulate, play games, or pretend to be someone you're not. You simply have to master the art of not reacting. But let's be real, it's easier said than done. That little voice in your head will tempt you. Just send one message. Just check his social media. Just post something that will make him notice you. And that's where the real test begins. Emotional detachment is about discipline. It's about resisting the urge to seek external validation and instead turning inward. The moment you stop looking to him for reassurance and start trusting your own worth, everything shifts. So how do you do it? First, recognize that your emotions are not instructions. Feeling anxious or hurt does not mean you need to act on it. Observe the emotion, acknowledge it, but do not let it dictate your behavior. Second, remind yourself of this truth. A man who truly values you will never put you in a position where you have to question your worth. If he is ignoring you, whether intentionally or not, he is sending a message. Your job is not to decode that message. It's to decide whether you even want to entertain a man who communicates through absence. Next, shift your focus. Instead of obsessing over what is thinking, what is doing, or why is being distant, turn that energy toward yourself. Invest in your own life so fully that you don't have time to wonder about him. This isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about genuinely reaching a place where his actions do not dictate your emotions. The moment you stop making him the center of your attention, he feels a difference. He senses a withdrawal of your energy, and that is when the power dynamic begins to change. But here's the twist: when he does come back, because trust me, he will, you still don't react the way he expects. Most women, the moment a man returns after ignoring them, feel an overwhelming sense of relief. They respond immediately. They pick up where they left off as if nothing happened. And just like that, the cycle repeats. He learns that he can ignore you without consequences, and over time, his respect for you diminishes. But a woman who is truly detached, she doesn't rush to respond. She doesn't reward inconsistency with excitement. She makes him earn her attention back. And here's where it gets even more interesting. When a man starts to realize that your emotions are not dependent on his actions, he feels something he rarely experiences with most women: uncertainty. And uncertainty is the birthplace of attraction. He begins to wonder, has she moved on? Is she seeing someone else? Why isn't she reacting the way other women do? And suddenly, the script flips. He starts reaching out more. He starts making an effort, not because you manipulated him, but because you refuse to let his behavior dictate your self-worth. Now, let's be clear. This doesn't mean you should tolerate disrespect or emotional unavailability. Emotional detachment is not about suppressing your needs or pretending you don't care when you actually do. It's about maintaining your dignity and not giving your energy to someone who isn't reciprocating it. A high-value woman does not beg for attention. She does not tolerate inconsistency. And most importantly, she does not make a man the center of her universe. She is the universe. So the next time a man starts pulling away, don't panic. Don't chase. Don't react. Instead, do nothing. Let the silence work for you. Let him feel the absence of your presence. And watch as the weight of ignoring you becomes his burden to bear. Because at the end of the day, the only response a man truly understands is the one he never saw coming. 2. Shift your focus. Reinvest in yourself. The moment you stop reacting, something powerful begins to happen. You reclaim the energy you were unknowingly giving away. Think about it. How much mental space has he occupied in your mind? How many times have you replayed conversations, analyzed his behavior, or scrolled through his social media looking for clues? That ends today. Because the truth is, the more you focus on him, the less power you have over your own life. And the second you shift that focus back to yourself, something almost magical happens. Most women think that getting a man's attention back requires effort, crafting the perfect text, posting the right photo, making him jealous. But in reality, the most irresistible thing you can do is this: become so busy elevating yourself that his absence becomes irrelevant. When you make yourself the main character of your life, everything shifts. And guess what? Men notice. The energy of a woman who is deeply invested in herself, who radiates confidence and purpose, is undeniably attractive. So what does this actually look like? It means taking every ounce of energy you would have spent worrying about him and redirecting it into you, your passions, your goals, your physical, mental, and emotional growth. Because here's the thing: when you operate from a place of lack, when your happiness is dependent on his attention, he feels it. And nothing kills attraction faster than neediness. But when you operate from a place of abundance, when you cultivate a life that is rich and fulfilling with or without him, that's when the dynamic changes. Picture this. He checks his phone expecting to see a message from you. Nothing. He scrolls through social media, half expecting to see some vague post about relationships, maybe something that hints at you missing him. Instead, he sees you thriving. Not in a performative way, not in a desperate attempt to get his attention, but in a way that radiates pure, unbothered joy. You're at the gym, glowing. You're out with friends, genuinely laughing. You're diving into new projects, expanding your world. And suddenly, a thought creeps into his mind. Did she move on? This is where mystery starts working in your favor. Because let me tell you something about men. They hate feeling replaceable. When a man starts ignoring a woman, he assumes she'll wait. He assumes she'll be there when he's ready to re-engage. But when she doesn't, When he starts to sense that he was just a chapter in her story, not the entire book, that's when the regret kicks in. That's when he realizes that ignoring her wasn't just an act of indifference, it was a mistake. But here's the best part. By the time he realizes it, you won't even care anymore, because you'll be too busy becoming the best version of yourself. And that is the real flex. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about genuinely being hard to get. Because a woman who values herself doesn't chase a man who ignores her. She doesn't beg for crumbs of attention. She doesn't wait around hoping he'll notice her again. She moves forward. She grows. And in doing so, she naturally attracts the kind of attention that doesn't need to be chased. Now I know some of you are thinking, but what if I truly want him back? What if this is just a phase and he comes back around? The answer is simple. If he is truly meant to be in your life, he will return. But when he does, he will return to a woman who is elevated, a woman who isn't just sitting around waiting for his texts. And that means the power dynamic has already shifted. He no longer sees you as someone waiting. He sees you as someone worth chasing. So ask yourself, who do you want to be? The woman who pauses her life every time a man pulls away, or the woman who becomes so magnetic, so unstoppable, that men feel lucky to be in her orbit? Because that choice, it's entirely yours. And the sooner you make it, the sooner everything changes. If you're feeling this, if you know deep down that it's time to shift your focus and step into your power, then show me you're serious. Like this video and comment number 1 if you're ready to stop chasing and start attracting. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, because what comes next will change the way you handle every man in your life. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. 3. Use mystery to create intrigue. There is something undeniably powerful about a woman who is unpredictable. The moment a man feels like he has figured you out, when he believes he knows exactly how you will react, when he assumes he has your attention no matter what he does, that is the moment he stops valuing you. But the second you introduce mystery, the moment he starts to question what's going on in your mind, that's when you become irresistible. Because nothing grips a man's attention more than the unknown. Most women, when they feel ignored, do the exact opposite of what works. They over-explain, they overshare, they try to clarify where they stand, thinking that if they can just get a little reassurance, they'll feel better. They send long messages trying to pull him back in. They make their emotions obvious, thinking that if he just knew how much they cared, he would change. But men don't work that way. A man does not fall for a woman because she tells him how she feels. He falls for her because he feels something he doesn't understand. Now let's break this down. Imagine you usually text him every morning. It's become routine. He knows he'll wake up to a message from you, something sweet, something engaging. It's predictable. And because it's predictable, it's expected. And because it's expected, it loses value. But one day, you don't text. You don't post anything. You don't leave any clues as to what's on your mind. Suddenly there's a shift. His brain, which had categorized you as consistent, now has a question. What changed? At first, he might not think much of it. But as hours pass, as a day goes by without hearing from you, as he scrolls through his phone and realizes there's nothing there, he starts to wonder. Did she forget? Is she mad? Is she with someone else? And just like that, your silence creates intrigue. He starts thinking about you, not because you push for his attention, but because you pull back. And that right there is how mystery works. Now let's take it a step further. When he finally does reach out, because he will, most women make the mistake of acting too eager. They respond instantly, making it obvious that they were waiting for his message. They get emotional, giving him confirmation that their world was, in fact, revolving around him. But you don't do that. You take your time. Maybe you see his message and wait before responding. Maybe when you do respond, you keep it short, effortless, slightly detached, not cold, not rude, but different. A subtle shift in tone, a hint of distance, something that makes him notice. And what does this do? It plants a seed of uncertainty in his mind. Suddenly he is not sure where he stands with you. He thought you'd be right there, waiting, eager to engage, but you're not. You're a little less available, a little more unpredictable. And that makes you interesting. Men chase what they can't fully have. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about being hard to get. There's a difference. When a woman is truly confident, When she truly values herself, she doesn't need to create mystery. She simply is mysterious. Not because she's trying to manipulate him, but because her life is full, because she is busy, because she is not dependent on his attention to feel validated. And here's the thing, mystery doesn't mean being unavailable all the time. It doesn't mean ignoring him for days just to see if he notices. It means breaking patterns. It means being unexpected. It means keeping certain parts of your life just for you, not oversharing every detail. It means not always giving him the reaction he expects. It means sometimes pulling back, sometimes shifting the energy, sometimes leaving him wondering what's on your mind. Think about the women men can't forget. They are never the ones who are overly available, always predictable, always trying to prove their worth. They are the ones who had something different, a quality that was hard to define, a presence that was felt even in their absence, a way of being that kept a man on his toes. That is what you need to cultivate. Because the truth is, men don't fall in love with certainty. They don't fall in love with things that feel easy. They fall in love with the chase, with the possibility of losing something valuable, with the excitement of earning a woman's attention. And the moment you make it too easy for him, the moment he knows without a doubt that you will always be there no matter how he treats you, that is the moment his desire starts to fade. So the next time you feel the urge to over-explain, to make things clear, to seek reassurance, stop yourself. Instead, ask, what would a woman who truly values herself do? Would she send a long message explaining her feelings? Or would she let her silence speak for her? Would she try to prove her worth? Or would she simply live her life knowing that the right man will recognize it without needing to be convinced? Mystery is not a game. It's an energy. It's a way of moving through the world that says, I know my worth. I don't need to prove it to anyone. And when a man senses that energy, he doesn't just notice it. He craves it. 4. Let time work in your favor. Patience is power. In a world where everyone is desperate for instant validation, where people chase after quick fixes and immediate gratification, a woman who knows how to wait holds an unmatched level of control. Time is one of the most underestimated forces in attraction. The longer you hold your silence, the more powerful you become in his mind. The longer you let him sit in the space you've left behind, the deeper he feels your absence. But most women don't use time to their advantage. They panic. They assume that if they don't act now, they'll lose their chance forever. They think that if they don't reach out, don't remind him they exist, he'll simply forget them. That's where they are wrong. When you stop chasing and allow time to work in your favor, something fascinating happens. A man who once took you for granted starts to feel something he never expected. Discomfort. He may not notice it at first. He may even feel relieved that you're not reaching out. But as days pass, as he realizes that you're not following the pattern he expected, something shifts. He begins to wonder. He starts to question. He goes from assuming your presence to doubting it. And that doubt, that's a seed that grows into curiosity, into regret, into the fear that maybe, just maybe, you've moved on. Men don't miss what's always available. They don't chase what they believe they already have. That's why the most powerful thing you can do when a man starts ignoring you is to simply do nothing. Let him feel the weight of your absence. Let him sit in the silence. Let him wonder where you went, what you're doing, whether you still think about him. Because when you give a man time to experience life without you, he begins to appreciate what he once had. Now here's where most women sabotage themselves. They wait a few days, maybe a week, and then they crack. They send a message, even a casual one, just to check in. They post something designed to get his attention. They break their own silence because they need to know where they stand. And just like that, the power they have been building disappears. He no longer has to wonder. He no longer has to miss her because she's just reassured him that she's still there, still thinking about him, still waiting. And the moment a man senses that a woman is waiting for him, he feels no urgency to act. But a woman who truly understands the power of time, she doesn't break her silence. She doesn't give him the relief of knowing where she stands. She lets him be the one to reach out. And when he finally does, because he will, she doesn't immediately reward his attention. She doesn't jump at the chance to talk to him. She doesn't flood him with excitement or let him think that all is forgiven just because he finally decided to show up. Instead, she remains composed, unbothered, different. Because that difference, that subtle shift in energy, that's what makes him realize that he is not as important in a world as he once thought. And here's the secret most women don't realize. The longer you wait, the stronger your impact. The more time you allow to pass, the more he starts to question himself. At first, he might tell himself is fine without you. He might even convince himself that ignoring you was the right move. But as time stretches on, as weeks go by, as he sees that you haven't reached out, he starts to feel something new, doubt. He starts to wonder if he was the one who made a mistake. He starts to compare you to other women. And suddenly, your silence becomes louder than anything you could have said. Time doesn't just make him miss you. It makes him reevaluate you. It forces him to remember the things he once admired about you. It makes him realize that maybe he misjudged the situation. And that's when the regret kicks in. That's when he starts to replay the moments he had with you, wondering if he should have handled things differently. That's when he starts to crave the presence that he once took for granted. But here's the most important part. By the time he reaches his realization, you may no longer care. Because time isn't just working on him, it's working on you. As he sits there,